Rockefeller once said, "Wealth is a compensation for knowledge, not a reward for hard work. One can never earn beyond their understanding." So how can we enhance our understanding to escape poverty and achieve financial advancement? Let's spend 10 minutes reading a book. Today, we are reading Poor Economics. This book, written by Nobel laureates Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, is the result of 15 years of research across 5 continents and 18 countries. Through numerous case studies, it reveals the deep-seated nature of poverty. The book points out that some people, despite their tremendous efforts, still struggle in the mire of poverty. Some work tirelessly, but fall back into poverty due to unexpected illness. Some cannot curb their spending impulses and are constantly overwhelmed by bills. Some drop out of school early and end up as cheap labor. Through their in-depth research, Banerjee and Duflo discovered that people often fall into poverty. Traps, which act like invisible shackles, firmly binding them to poverty. The only way to escape poverty is to fundamentally break free from these traps. 1. The consumption trap. In the book, the authors describe the living conditions of an Indonesian farmer named Park. Park suffered from chronic hunger, was physically weak, and unable to perform heavy labor. However, when Abhijit visited Park's home, he was surprised to find an abundance of items. Not just a TV, DVD player, and mobile phone, but also tea, coffee, and sugar. Abhijit was puzzled and asked Park why he bought these non-essentials despite the food scarcity. Park replied, "I have to find some joy in life." This type of consumption mentality is not unique in slums. Abhijit observed that many poor people, while barely making ends meet, still enthusiastically buy entertainment products. He emphasizes that for the poor, securing basic needs and striving to earn money is far more important than consumption. However, due to an inability to control desires for pleasure and a lack of delayed gratification, these poor individuals often fall into the consumption trap. This consumption trap is ubiquitous in life. Many people prefer to spend large sums on dining and shopping rather than investing in self-improvement and learning. Enticed by credit, installments, and discounts, people often consume blindly, forgetting that the best investment is in improving their earning capacity. Therefore, we need to establish the right consumption mindset, spend money wisely, and avoid falling into the consumption trap. We should be generous with necessary investments and rational with unnecessary expenses to avoid being devoured by the consumption trap. 2. The health trap. A social survey on choices between making money and health shows that up to 70% of people prefer making money at the expense of health. People often overlook the importance of their bodies when healthy, but are forced to spend money on recovery once ill. This health trap is hard to escape once ensnared. In the book, the authors mention a peculiar phenomenon they discovered during their research on the poor. Even when medications, disinfectants, and nutrition tablets are provided for free, the poor are reluctant to take them. Low-income workers prefer to spend money on alcohol rather than buying cheap iron supplements. Although a $100 mosquito net can prevent 32 types of malaria, no family sees the need to purchase it. These poor people seem overly confident in their bodies and neglect health investments. However, they are the most susceptible to illness. A harsh truth is that an ordinary person and a poor person are only one serious illness apart. The greatest folly of people is to disregard their health, placing it secondary. The authors attribute this health trap to a lack of awareness and delayed action. To avoid falling into poverty due to illness, we need not only to awaken our awareness, but also to actively take care of our bodies in daily life. 3. The mindset trap. Esther's friend Eunice is a successful entrepreneur. On one occasion, Eunice encountered 3 Indian women sifting sand by the roadside. curious, he learned that they earned a living by letting cars crush wet sand, then collecting and drying the fine sand to sell to the wealthy for polishing fine dishes. Eunice suggested investing in a factory to help them increase their income, but they declined, content with merely surviving. Eunice lamented that one major reason the poor find it hard to become wealthy is their limited mindset. Unlike the wealthy, who constantly adapt and innovate to keep making profits, the businesses of the poor often start easily, but fail to break through due to their rigid thinking patterns. Warren Buffett once said, "In my life, I have never met a rich person who has never lost money, but I have met many poor people who never dared to do anything and thus never lost a cent." If we see mindset as a wall, wealth is hidden on the other side. Only by breaking through the mindset trap can we overcome limitations and achieve financial growth. 4. The emotional trap. In the summer of 2008, the authors met Tina, who was impoverished and destitute. She suffered from depression, lived with her disabled mother in a shabby shack, and survived by begging. Formerly a clothing factory owner, she fell into hardship when her husband withdrew a bad check. After an emotional breakdown, she gave up her business. Months later, her husband was severely injured in a car accident and filed for divorce. This series of blows left Tina in despair and devoid of hope. Despite the author's encouragement, she believed she was destined to be poor. Psychologist Albert Ellis's ABC model illustrates the impact of emotions on outcomes. A stands for the event, B stands for the emotions triggered by the event, and C stands for the results caused by those emotions. The event itself does not directly determine the outcome. Rather, it is our emotional response that guides the development of the situation. Tina's misfortune did not stem from the bad check, but from her excessively negative emotions. In life, we inevitably encounter misfortune, but wallowing in negative emotions only worsens the situation. It is not the event itself, but our reaction to it that shapes our lives. The authors observed that the poor, due to the pressures of life, are more prone to emotional turmoil, falling into emotional traps from which they cannot escape. Therefore, in times of adversity, we should control our emotions and not let them become obstacles to overcoming life's challenges. 5. The education trap. Algorithms of life. Mentions that the poor often choose certain gains while ignoring the importance of probability. This tendency is especially evident in education. They prefer to work immediately to earn visible income, rather than waiting for the uncertain payoff of education. Although this choice may temporarily alleviate financial pressure, it sacrifices significant opportunity costs. Abhijit initially believed that poverty limited the educational opportunities for the poor, but upon closer investigation, he found this was not the case. In fact, in many countries, the poor have access to free public education. However, most choose to enter the workforce before completing primary school. Abhijit's research data shows that higher education levels can significantly increase personal income. But this data has not had a significant impact in slums, because people generally believe that studying is useless. This utilitarian mindset causes many families to fall into the education trap. However, for the poor who lack background and connections, education is actually the only way to change their fate. Through continuous learning and arming themselves with knowledge, they can break social barriers. Education is a game of leveraging small investments for big returns. Only by persevering can one use clever strategies to break free from the shackles of poverty. 6. The cleverness trap. In India, Ms. Reddy, CEO of a credit company, once met a poor man who collected scrap. He complained that he could not make a living due to the cost of renting a cart. Out of pity, Reddy provided a small loan at a low interest rate to help him buy a pushcart. This initiative quickly spread, benefiting many poor people. However, 6 months later, Ready encountered problems. Some borrowers created scams to avoid repayment and even spread rumors to ruin Ready's reputation. The poor people used their cleverness to find reasons not to repay, ultimately leading to Ready's bankruptcy. Although they gained temporary benefits, they lost future credit opportunities and ended up turning to loan sharks, often resulting in family ruin. The authors lament in the book that the poor often misuse their cleverness. The poorer they are, the more likely they are to use cunning. But destiny's gifts always come with a price. Short-term schemes ultimately lead to self-destruction. The cleverness conservation law in psychology also indicates that excessive cleverness often leads to failure. Petty cleverness is actually the biggest trap. Therefore, being down to earth and wisely using intelligence is the true path to success. 7. Conclusion. The publication of Poor Economics has completely changed people's inherent understanding of poverty. Authors Abhijit and Esther sincerely express, "We hope this book can guide the poor worldwide." For a long time, poverty has been seen as an unavoidable force, blamed on bad luck, accidents, others' difficulties, and external oppression, making it hard to escape the plight. However, after reading this book, we realize that only by breaking the shackles of poverty can we escape its curse. What binds us is not the external world, but our blind and stubborn mindset. And what can truly save us is our awakened self.